Here we go then. Mr. President, and your guest, Mr. Walford, Mr. Chairman, team manager, members, fanatical, blue-blooded, lifelong supporters of Wealdstone Football Club. On behalf of John and myself, may I say how honoured and privileged we are to have been invited to this special matchday sporting luncheon. And how fitting it should be on the very day that Wealdstone sit proudly at the top of the Ryman's League. With games in hand, hopefully, it's only a few weeks before the club is crowned champions. Yet more glory will be added to the rich history of this great football club. What a cracking job the manager, Gordon Bartlett, and his assistant, Leo Morris, are doing this season. There is little doubt your hard work will soon be rewarded. Well done, gentlemen. Where is he? Mr. President, where are you? Is he not here? Oh, there he is. Are you busy, Paul? Mr. President, I must congratulate you on your sense of timing. It feels so good to be back with Wealdstone people, our club. Fuck me, this is more nerve-wracking than the free penalties. As you probably know, I left this club, sadly, in 1979. So after all these years, I beg to ask the club this question. Mr. President, do you intend to make this a regular event every 35 years? Because if the answer is yes, then Willie and me, we got to get down the doctors and get some of those extra long life tablets. Otherwise, we may just struggle to make the next invitation day. What do you think, Will? You'll be all right. We move on. My association with Wealdstone. Look at me, shaking my leg. Let me rephrase that. My love affair with this football club began in June 1972. Some 42 years ago. And yet, I did all I could to stop it ever happening. As a junior, I'd been at Spurs, then went to Millwall as an apprentice, and turned professional, but sadly it didn't work out. So I moved on to Southend, and once again, I got shown the door. Where do you go from Southend? I was a disillusioned 20-year-old going nowhere, back playing football with me mates in Bruce Castle Park, Tottenham, where I played all my life. Out of the blue one evening, I get a phone call from a guy called Sid Prosser. What are you selling? Said I. No, he said. I'm the manager of Wealdstone Football Club. I said rudely, who and where the hell is Wealdstone? It's in Harrow, Sid replies. And where is Harrow, I said. I lived in Tottenham. I hadn't a clue where fucking Harrow was. Now I'm getting the right ump. This fella's giving me the right needle. Anyway, I'm not interested. I've had enough of football. Over to you, Sid. Look, let me come round and have a chat with you. No, I said, no. You're wasting your time. Let me be the judge of that, replies Sid. Listen, he says, I've got one or two things you may be interested in. I had to admire his persistence. He just wasn't taking no for an answer. Bloody salesman. I relented and a meeting was hastily arranged. Sorry about not being able to look at you, but I've got to do my notes tonight. Round he comes, this little fella, in his sharp navy blue suit, slim gin tie and shiny shoes.
Smelly breath.
Smelly breath. Very smart. He was a well-spoken, intelligent-sounding guy and explained to me how the club had recently turned professional, but was still full of well-meaning, good-hearted amateur people. This, he said, would have to change. He then told me how we would have to release some players, but would be signing other quality players. And his vision was to be challenging for honours and being promoted to the Premier League within 2 years. Then he played his ace card and told me he saw me as an integral part of his team. He felt we could be a success together at Wealdstone. I was impressed with what he said. And it was a great feeling to be wanted again. I bought into Sid's vision immediately. I agreed to sign for the club, even though I didn't know where the fuck it was. So we shook hands. Stop swearing. And the seeds were sown. Little did I realise at that time, I had just made the most important decision I would ever make in my life. It was to be the making of me, not just as a player, but as a person. My life had taken a new direction, and the future was challenging and exciting. I'm so grateful to Sid for his judgment, but more importantly, for his determination not to take no for an answer. Boy, how lucky was I. I know for a fact he really got me playing, and by that I mean on training nights at Lower Mead. He would have Billy Byrne and me working on making diagonal crossover runs to pull defenders out of position to create space for ourselves and our teammates. The timing was the key, and we had so much success, but it came down to the work ethic on those training nights. On another occasion, I remember he actually got me to demonstrate a Bill how to hold the ball up. And by that, I mean getting your body between the opponent and the ball to bide a few precious seconds until a teammate would get up and support you. Of course, Bill learned this very quickly and became a master at it. These were just a couple of examples of Sid's coaching. Both Bill and I believed in what we were doing. We knew if we kept making these runs, we would lose our marker and go on to create havoc in the penalty area. But if we stood still, we'd get the shit kicked out of us. We quickly struck up an understanding and an appreciation of where each of us was on the pitch. It was uncanny, almost a telepathic awareness. We complemented each other so well. We began terrorising defences. The goals began to go in. Our reputation grew. And we became the scourge of the Southern League. You all know the rest. Bill Byrne. What a striker. What a partnership. My first season, as Tim's already explained, got off to a painfully slow start. I think it took me, I've crossed that out 4 or 5 games, to 8. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. But I knew the jury was still out. Meanwhile, Sid pulled off a bit of a masterstroke by persuading his good friend, the ex-England captain and Fulham captain, Johnny Haynes, to join us on a month's loan. Only a short time ago, I was playing with my mates in Bruce Castle Park, and here I am now, in the same team as a Tottenham Hotspur double winner and the ex-England captain. It don't get much better than that. After about 3 games of his loan period, Johnny turned to Eddie President, our left back, and he said, "That fella up front, George," he said, "he's a good player." And when Eddie told me this later on in the bar, I felt so proud to receive such a comment from one of England's finest players. My confidence rose to a new level. I just couldn't wait for the next match and to score the next goal. I began to live the dream. Another example of Sid's professional approach was for us to be measured up for club blazers and trousers. With the blessing of the chairman at the time, the lovely Don Brown. Of course, David came later, David Martle, and he was a proud wearer of that blazer as well. Is that right, David? Yeah. Thank you. The blazer was royal blue, the trousers were grey, and they were to be worn on match days only. But for some reason, we weren't given a club tie. Don't ask me why. So I made this my business to find a tie to match the blazer. And this is what I come up with. A replica of what I'm wearing today. That's a shame, isn't it? Right, hold it, you've thrown me off now, haven't you? Everywhere we went, you could see people looking at us, no doubt thinking, blimey, look at this lot. They mean business. And we did. We all looked so smart, a proper football club. I felt so proud wearing that raw blue blazer with Wealdstone FC on the top left-hand pocket. Pause. What's that? Gets worse. Gets worse. Right. John, Willie, Watson. When Sid told me he was signing Johnny Watson from West Ham, I knew this was one of Sid's quality players he was promised he would be signing. I knew all about John from our time in the youth team. John was at West Ham, I was at Millwall. I was 18 months older than John, but we played against each other a few times. I knew that he had good control, was a good passer, could tackle like a tiger. And his positional play was good. In fact, he was a cultured left back. Although I didn't know him to talk to, I respected him as a player. So when he came to Wealdstone, there was no doubt in my mind he would be a great asset to the team. Shortly after his arrival, he put a word in for his teammate at West Ham. Sid invited him along. His name was Ginger. And the place was never going to be the same again. Their antics in the dressing room are legendary. They are simply the funniest blokes I've ever met. They help create great spirit and camaraderie within the team. The dressing room was the place to be. Funny off the pitch, but deadly on it, deadly serious on it. These two were vital cogs in our championship winning team. You all know of Willie's swashbuckling style, commitment to the cause, desire for winning. He always gave 100% and expected nothing less from his teammates. If you ask him to talk about his game, he would say, I just tried. Quite simple, isn't it? He became a great club captain and served the club with distinction for 9 seasons. His never say die attitude sometimes overshadowed his excellent footballing ability, coupled with an astute football brain. The club must be so proud of his 18 England appearances, 9 as captain. He would always be in my team. Warrior, leader, international, winner, captain, teammate. What a player. I love him dearly. The one and only Johnny Watson. Yeah. I spoke earlier about my love affair. Let me try and explain. That blazer and tie, I loved it. Coming to Lower Mead, our spiritual home, on training nights, I loved it. The dressing room was full of banter and laughter. I loved it. And how I longed for match days. I just loved it. In the clubhouse, after the match, where we discussed the game. Win, lose or draw. If we win, we have some gin. If we lose, we have more booze. Where did that come from? Yeah, and ginger, of course. And you, the supporters. When I scored a goal, my immediate thought was to share that magical moment with our adoring fans. Whether it was at our favourite Elmsley end or the cinema. My theatre of dreams. Do you remember my goal celebration? No, probably not. I would always run towards you people, arms aloft, and see the expressions on your faces. Joyous faces, with eyes bulging out of your head, almost in tears. Young boys and girls, old men and women. Even Mrs. Goodman and her dog dressed in his royal blue jacket, home and away. Sharing that wonderful feeling. Yes! We've scored. No amount of money in the world could buy what I felt inside. And I know you felt it too. It was priceless. I was truly blessed. In a nutshell, I had the best job in the world. A 12-year-old boy came to watch us during our championship winning season. He loved what he saw. He became a regular at Lower Mead and travelled to away games. He was hooked for life. He joined the club, worked his way up, became chairman, and of course, he is now the president of the club. When I first met Paul, he enthused about how he first came to watch us and how I was his hero. How cool was that? Oh, now he's getting a bit... I've been so lucky. I've been so lucky to have made some people happy. It certainly made me happy. Happy days, eh? And when that great referee upstairs blows his whistle on my time, and it's time to go up to that football pitch in the sky, I shall go contented in the knowledge I did some good and left my footprint with Wealdstone Football Club, the club I love. Saturday, 15th of March, match day, East Thurrock, 3 p.m, 3 points. Yeah. This is what we live for. Come on, you Stones! Thank you very much, you're so kind. I haven't quite finished yet. I know, it's fucking painful now, isn't it? But may I just say a big thank you to Alison Moran and the catering staff, Lauren and all the girls, for the excellent food and first-class service. Thank you, girls. Wherever you are, come out and wave. Lauren, fantastic. Now I know this has been a very expensive lunch for most of you today, especially when you were paid to listen to a load of old bollocks. But listen, I can assure you, hand on heart, every word of that is true. Trust me. But I would like to thank you all sincerely for making our return so special. And let me just say, Willie and I will be here tonight until they throw us out. Just like the old days at Lower Mead. So please come and speak to us, don't be shy. We will endeavour to answer all your questions. I mean, we've got to get as much mileage out of this as we can, haven't we, after 35 years in exile. And by the way, we both drink lager. Would you like me to do the toast? Or... I think you should. No, yeah, we should do it now. Yeah. On this very special day, it is important we remember those people who cannot be with us. May I ask you all to be upstanding? And to raise your glasses to absent friends of the Wealdstone family.
Absent friends.
Absent friends.
Thank you. And just in closing, I've got a small presentation to make to Mr. President.
What did you ask?
Just get the word in again, I'm going to need that. I can't even remember half a dozen words. Right, in return for my wonderful years enjoyed at Wealdstone FC, I would like to present the club with this token of my appreciation.
Thank you very much, George.
Once again, thank you very much. Georgie Duck, everybody. 251 goals, 370 appearances. We're going to whistle a couple of auction pieces, and I'm going to come back to Tim and Willie and George for the Q&A.